This is a basic setup to write a bit of HTML. I've got a notepad here on the lower left. I've got a browser here. I'm using Chrome, and this is a file explorer, so you can see the sort of documents that are being saved. And I'm working off a memory stick. I've created a directory called My Websites. This is where the files are going to appear. I'm going to browse for them using Chrome. I'm going to switch to a program called Notepad, but before I do that I want to just show you some Notepad++. Before I do that I just want to show you what the sort of restrictions are with Notepad. If you haven't got Notepad++, everything will work in Notepad just as before. You're just going to have to be very careful when you're closing and opening your tags and so forth. If I start with a simple web page, close that, and then if I put in here slash head, and now if I miss off that last tag, let's say I've had to answer a phone call or something like that, I'm missing a tag. Now Notepad hasn't told you I'm missing a tag. What would be nice is if Notepad, the second I typed that, Notepad produced that for me. That would certainly save a lot of errors in the HTML. Another thing is that there's no real color coding here. HTML, that tag looks the same as that tag there, looks the same as that tag. When I put in one, that text looks the same as that tag. If I was to put in here, I don't know, body style, color. I can't really sort of identify the different components here because everything's the same colour. It's all monochrome, but it'll work. It'll work absolutely fine. What Notepad++ will do is help you around a lot of these sorts of problems. So if I do file, let's save as, and remember, if you're just working in straight Notepad, you've got to remember to change the file type, removable disk F, My Website. We're going to stick it in here, and we're going to call it homepage.htm. By the way, that's something I want you to go Google. I want you to go Google the difference between HTML versus HTML. Some of you are writing HTML, some are writing HTM. Most of the time it doesn't make a difference when you're working locally. In fact, pretty well all of the time it shouldn't make a difference when you're working locally. It will make a difference when you are uploading to servers. You need to understand the difference between the two. Let's hit save. Go over here. Go onto my memory stick. There's the directory. Remember, if you're doing this, if you're using Internet Explorer as opposed to Google Chrome, you're going to have to go up here and click onto your web page out of a browser. Internet Explorer seems to work slightly different from most of the other browsers. Click on My Website, and there's the home page. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close down Notepad, and I've got a copy of Notepad++ running here in the background. I'm going to go and open that exact web page that we were just editing in ordinary Notepad. Just make sure that all these windows just fit in. Display. There we go. Okay. File. Open. And I'm going to go find F, My Website, homepage, open that, and now look, see the colouring that it's given us. It's actually given all the tags are in blue. You can see that this is an attribute, it's a different colour, red. The attribute settings are in purple, plain text is in black. It's just a lot easier to see what's going on. The other thing is in Notepad, if I now put a tag in here, let's say H2, does the closing tag for me, so I don't have to remember to do things like that. Something else that Notepad will do, if you get the right plugins in, is it will allow you to run HTML tidy. Now, tidy has got a tidy to a specification. If you look at your room at home, your definition of tidy for that room might be different from your mother's definition of tidy for that room. So you've got to decide on what the right specification is for that. And what you need to do is at the very start of the HTML file is say, this is the specification I'm saying that tidy complies to. You can go Google this stuff. I'm going to use HTML 401. If I grab that off another web page I've got off the screen here, Control C. If you go to W3C schools and have a look for document types, it'll give you all the flavors there. HTML5 is the one that we'd like to be working to eventually. The trouble is that most of the world doesn't support HTML5 yet because it's not a rock solid specification. So 401, which is that example there, is the tightest that we've got. Now when I hit tidy, if I go to text, HTML tidy, and tidy that, it'll do two things. One is it'll find any errors and stick them in a little error file, which you can go look at if you want. And the second thing is it'll actually format all this for me. So it's written the errors to this little file here. You should go find it. It's just a text file. And then if you look at your document, you'll see it's tidied it all up for you. It's actually corrected all the bits and bobs. It's tabbed it all nicely for you. And if I was to miss out, so let's say I was typing. Sorry, let me step that back here. Page 1. Let's say I was putting in another tab here, H3. It puts the closing tab, and then for some bizarre reason, I deleted that closing tag, even though Notepad++ has put it in for me. When I run HTML tidy, it'll delete that whole tag. It'll say you weren't using it, nothing in there. It'll correct it for me. Control S, save that, go over back here, and there we are. Works just as before. So that's HTML tidy. There is a portable app version. Get it installed on your memory stick, bring it to college, you'll be using it a lot. Outside of that, you can use Notepad. Notepad will work, it's just it's nowhere near as handy as Notepad++.